right, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great week thus far. So today I'll be presenting on Chapter 11, Diversity and the Achievement Gap by Valerie Pang. And I'll be talking over what exactly is diversity, what it is, what it isn't, and then and also strategies to kind of help close that achievement gap, what others are doing to close the achievement gap, and so on. So my name is Jonathan King, and I'm going to go ahead and start presenting to you guys. So first, Pang talks about diversity, right? The fundamental life principle. So Pang says that diversity is much more than skin color or differences in gender, class, race, religion, sexual orientation, exceptionalities, and ethnicity and age. And so go into detail as far as how diversity can help your life. So diversity is important to your financial health, right? So we need to pick different types of things to invest in. We just can't put all our money into one investment, right? So some examples are, that were given in the book are put 2,000 in a real estate trust, put 3,000 in a mutual fund, because what happens is no one knows which investment is going to do well, right? So if you're putting your money in several types of assets, your likelihood of one of those investments, skyrocketing for you is larger. So don't just put all your money into one investment, spread it out and go from there. The next is diversity is great for your body, right, and your human gene pool. So looking at the body, right, there's a greater benefit in varying one's workout. So not just doing squats every day, but incorporating lunges, core workouts, working on your upper body strength, working on your back, working on your glutes. These are multiple workouts that you should be doing to help the overall body, and not just focusing on one. And we know this to keep physically healthy, humans need to be involved in diverse workouts. So maybe going kayaking, playing a volleyball game, doing different things, being physically active, and me being a physical education teacher, doing different things is what's best for your body. And now as far as looking at the human gene pool, right? So it's best not to marry and reproduce with someone who is in your immediate family. When related individuals have children, there's a higher chance that recessive genes will become active, which can result in birth defects and other issues. So diversity is huge when looking at your human gene pool. So moving on to the achievement gap, right? So what is it? The achievement gap is the difference between students of color and their white peers in various subject areas. And so it's critical for teachers to raise questions about why the achievement of some groups of students is substantially lower than their peers. And so we as educators need to realize, why is this happening, okay? And how can we find a solution to that problem? And later on in this presentation, I'll be going over in detail some of the strategies that we as educators can implement amongst our own classes to try our best to achieve that, close that achievement gap amongst our students, more specifically our students of color. And so there are two programs that I want to talk about, comprehensive programs that kind of help close that achievement gap. And one is the Puente Project, which mentors students to finish high school and to set college admissions and graduation goals. It's a strong foundation of affirming culture and integrating the importance of family. So the Puente Project, I highly recommend you look into it and see the amazing things that they're doing. And as well as the Lemon Grove Academy, which is located right here in Lemon Grove. They provide health and dental programs for students, and they place emphasis on civil rights and equal education through wellness. So these are two great programs that are working on closing that achievement gap. So strategies to address the achievement gap. So the first and foremost, I think is the most important, is carefully assessing student knowledge and skills. So when you get your students for the first time, we need to figure out where they're at currently, right? Because we need to know where they're at so that we can say, okay, what can we do to move on? Second is develop goals to address specific gaps in student knowledge and skills. So once we know where they're at with their knowledge and skills, then we can set goals to where we want to get them, and that's critical. The next is making learning relevant and meaningful to your students by clearly stipulating what is being taught and why. Okay, and I think this is the most important part of teaching, is giving the students a why. Why are they learning this concept? How can they apply it? What's the application to real life scenarios? And so because students don't want to learn something they are never going to use or they think is unimportant. So we need to give some form of application, some form of meaning to what we're teaching our students. And then last but not least, affirming student identity and cultural backgrounds. So affirming who they are, bringing in their culture into our lessons, getting to know who our students are and who they're, where they're from, their community, and their parents. So these are critical issues when trying to close the achievement gap. So the use of technology to address the achievement gap, right? So here's some of the advantages of using technology for students. One, students can purchase less expensive digital copies of text. So instead of buying these expensive books, and we all know this, these books can get expensive, they can purchase digital copies that are a lot cheaper than the physical copies. It provides more resources, right? Technology provides more resources. There are things that they can go on Google. They can look up articles. They can do this. They can do that. YouTube videos. So there's so many resources that can assist them in their education. Next is they can complete assignments on smartphone if needed. So if they're out and about, or maybe their computer's not working, they can use their phone, which is not highly recommended, but it's still an option for students to complete assignments. And then last but not least, can go paperless, which is good for the environment and shrinking school budgets. All right, so some technology, the use you can do, some of the ways you can use your technology in your classroom is to provide mini lectures online for review. And I'll be doing this with my class this year. And if I'm correct, it's called Flip Learning, which I'm going to create short mini lectures and place them online for students that need additional support, right? So what these videos are able to do is that students, instead of being synchronous and doing a lesson, it can be asynchronous, and students can rewind or go back and watch your lecture multiple times to fully understand the content that is being presented to them. Our master program does that, where we can go back and watch videos multiple times that our professors are lecturing on. So I think that's a critical component of distance learning as well as online learning. Moving on, so technology can provide online tutoring and open office hours. So what you can do is you can provide small group tutoring sessions for struggling students. So maybe 2 to 3 students, and maybe you create a Zoom meeting or Google Meets, and you can assist those students on a one-to-one basis, which I think is another critical component of helping students that need that extra assistance. And then set up online office hours, and not just have them being whenever. Set a set time on your office hours, so students know that you're going to be available, so that they can ask questions and you can provide quality feedback for them. So whatever that means, maybe that's on a Friday at between 1 and 3. Students know that you're going to be available. They can give you a call or email, and you're going to get back to them as soon as possible. And then going over the universal design for all learners. So UDL includes the use of different ways to engage students, provides a diverse means to explain a model, such as showing a video, and making learning more meaningful by building on what students know. UDL can be proven useful for students who may have specific disabilities. Differentiating instructions provided in the UDL design, so that's structured inside the UDL design. That's why I love it so much. And then students can learn through the use of visuals, audio sources, via reading from teacher demonstrations, and many other ways, right? So the UDL design, you allow students to kind of decide what they are going to do and how they're going to turn it in, whether that be in a paragraph form, or they create a wee video, or they create a screencast. You're giving them multiple means of turning in their assignment, and you're providing an opportunity for them to engage in what they're learning with other students if wanted. Moving on, so the 5 ways to use technology in our teaching. So the first is provide additional information for your students, right? And I do this, I'm going to be doing this with my students this year, is creating a folder where students can access resources to assist them in completing assignments. Professors in our master's program do a great job of that, at providing additional resources that we can refer back to. So they're going to help us fully understand the concepts that we're learning and help us complete the assignments that are being asked of us. So that's one, making sure that there's this folder that students can access 24/7 for additional help. Second, we can organize various groups to create a wiki, research paper, or video, all through the use of an online platform, right? So, and I love this idea, is creating a link where emails of all members can be found, so students can update each other and ask questions as they develop their work. Some of my professors have already done that. So allowing students to collaborate with one another, whatever way that may be. They maybe want to collaborate over the phone, or through a Zoom meeting, or Google Meets, or maybe once this is all over, in person. So we're giving them multiple ways to be able to communicate with one another. Next, use links to short videos that explain specific concepts. And I love this. I do this with my own class, whether they're learning how to do a backswing or a specific stroke. I provide students opportunities to watch videos that they can look over and over again. This has been found to help English language learners specifically struggling with learning the vocabulary. So these short videos, and I make sure I want to say short because they have to be short. You're going to lose a kid after 6 minutes. So providing short videos for them to watch to help them assist in their learning process. So allowing students to make short videos themselves, right? So videos can be powerful learning tools, not only for those who create the video, but also for students who watch them. And so I guess, Vygotsky talked about this. When students are able to talk about what they're learning it even more, right? So allowing students to present video, but also going beyond that and allowing them to publish their work on YouTube or whatever it may be. Students are proud of their work, and many students love or more than willing to go and publish it so the community, their parents, other teachers, the administration can see what they've done, and we can affirm how proud we are of these students. And then 5, affirming students through email, right? So whatever that may be a comment that you're making on their work. You could maybe sending an email to their parents or themselves where you're saying, you know what, I'm so proud of what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Those small things can make a huge difference in a student's life. And so it can be not just an email. Like I said, it can be a comment. It could be a text message. You can actually give them a phone call, whatever it is. We need to affirm to our students that we're proud of what they're doing. So some characteristics of a successful student and a successful teacher. One is successful student. So they're self-directed. They listen without criticism, accepts others' ideas. They give helpful feedback. This is one of what I think is most important. They reflect on their own learning, and they have high expectations for themselves and the teacher. Some characteristics of a successful teacher is they're caring towards others and the self. It affirms each student's worth, and they use a variety of instructional approaches to teach information and skills, monitor student progress, and provide feedback. I just took a couple that I found very critical to the class, and I pulled a couple out, but there is still a lot more characteristics of a great student and a successful teacher. So culturally relevant teaching tips. One is to affirm student and family cultural backgrounds. We need to learn our students' names by heart, right? And so when we're calling on students in the classroom, not just say, okay, go ahead, or hey, you, call them by their name, right? And so we're affirming student and family cultural backgrounds by doing that. We're trying to build trusting relationships with our students. Next, another tip is to affirm student ethnic identities. Include a science role model for the student's neighborhood or ethnic group. So providing someone that they know, that they look up to into the lesson, as well as getting parents involved, acting as guest speakers where parents come in and talk about their own personal experiences with whatever the content that's being taught. I think that's a great way to affirm students' ethnic identities. Next, another tip, teachers develop trusting relationship with students and their families. So invite parents to school activities, right? Whether that be a fair that we're having, invite them, get them involved as best as possible because students absolutely love that. And then listen to students and learn about what is important to learners, such as their values, their beliefs, and their people. So that's just from the very beginning, getting to know who your students are, what are their values, what are their beliefs, and so you can better then construct an environment that best fits all students, not just the very few. And the brief summary, technology provides differentiation and individual tutoring and addresses the wide-ranging interests and academic needs of students. So technology, if used correctly, can help close that achievement gap and support students of all colors. And then lastly, this chapter goes over caring-centered framework, provides a foundation for teachers that emphasizes the importance of democratic values, critical thinking, inquiry education, and collaboration in cognitive theory, right? So we as educators, our goal should be to try our best to close this achievement gap and support our students with diverse backgrounds, providing diversity amongst our class, whether that be through our assignments that are diverse or our instruction that may be diverse in the way we have our students access it. We need to provide diversity. It's critical not only for our students, but for us as educators. And so I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an outstanding week. Take care and be safe.